Dear hosts, we're back with another episode of The Hosting Journey, where we talk all about Airbnb and short-term rentals. And in today's show, we're going to talk about how do you review that guest? Not the horrible guest, not the one that broke your house rules, that brought in more people, that had a party in your house, because you know how to do that, right? Okay, I hope. No, today's about how do you review the other guests, the ones that you're like, So, let's go to the show. These are the questions that I ask, which are the same questions that are on the review when you review them. Did they break any house rules? And which one they broke, right? Because there's some house rules that I'm like, okay, I'm sad they broke it, but it's okay. It's not horrible. But some house rules, I'm like, no, like, don't bring people over, don't smoke in the unit, or anything like that. So that's one of the first questions. Also, how is communications? Because like in Puerto Rico, La Casita, I need them to fill out some paperwork for the government. And I don't want to be pestering them and asking them every single day, hey, can you fill it out? Can you send it to me? Hey, what's the documents? Hey, you're leaving tomorrow. Where's my form? So how's communication? Or they request things last minute, like, oh, hey, I'm arriving early. And they're like at the airport on the way to your house. So if communication's not great, I say it. Or if how clean they left the space. And I'm not expecting for them, I'm not expecting for them to leave the space the way they found it, because my girl does an amazing job and I'm not expecting that. But how filthy is it or not? Sometimes people leave the place extra dirty. So I might mention that or not, or I might just ding them on cleanliness on the stars. In the Facebook group, The Hosting Journey, someone mentioned about a guest who used every single plate and left it dirty before they left. I don't know if they had a dishwasher or not. And I understand sometimes when you're running out the day that you're leaving and you might leave your breakfast dishes, but not every dish, right? So that was a question that they had. They were sort of like, well, what do we say? Some people were like, oh, well, it's just business. And other people were like, I might mention it. Because you as a host, that review is for the future host. Not for the past, not for what they did, is for the future. To let someone else know how that guest behaved. And do you want them back? Will you want them back? Because that's one of the other questions I ask myself. Will I host this guest again? And a lot of times it's no. A lot of times it's yes, for the most part. But sometimes I'm like, no. Now, something that I don't review them on is, let's say, were they friendly? Because, look, people might be shy. They might have some anxiety. They might not be friendly. So I don't tend to review them about that, even though it's great when they are pleasant, right? I also try not to review them on my emotions, on how I feel about the guest. I try to be factual. And when you write your review, be factual about them. Don't be like, I felt that they disrespected the house. Well, how did they disrespect the house? What is that feeling? Why did you have that feeling? Did they smoke inside? So did you state they smoked inside the house and they broke this house rule? That's it. Because the feeling, some people might be okay with them smoking. So let them pick a place that smokes, that allows it. All right? So be factual. Don't let your emotions run your review, because it could happen. Believe me, I know. And ask those questions. How was communication? Did they break a house rule? How clear were they? And also, how clean were they? And would you host them again? I talk about this on my product, The Language of Welcome, the guide for guest communication. And I give you samples of everything that I write to my guests when they're a good guest, when they're a bad guest, and when they're a so-so guest. So I'm going to put a link above and below so you could check it out, just in case you might be interested. Until the next time, let me know. How you review your guests? Have you encountered that not so great guest? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, this is Evelyn from The Hosting Journey.